Hi, I'm Dr. Lori Puskar, and we're going to talk about women's hormones and the many faceted problems with women's hormones. So much of it is not being discussed or addressed by the medical model, and there's so much more you need to know than what you're being told. It's not just about estrogen and progesterone. It's not just about taking birth control or possibly hormone replacement. It's about getting at the root causes of your health situations, and that's what we're going to talk about now. So what we have going on is the medical model has a very myopic viewpoint of what you need to do with your hormones. And the problem is that, interestingly enough, the woman's body actually has 67 different hormones. So to try and blame and isolate out one or two as the root cause or to blame, even if these levels are high or low, they still may or may not even be the root cause situation. So you're only looking at 2 of the 67. And my question is what about the other 65? When do they come into play? When do we talk about those? When do they have a role? And what's missing is again, taking a look and kind of pigeonholing the poor woman into that the only problem she can have regarding her hormones is ovaries and uterus. And yes, of course, they are the female sex hormones, but what about the other organs and systems? Don't they have an interrelationship? Don't they have a cause and effect possibility of being the root cause situation when you're looking at these hormones? What if it's possibly your thyroid that's creating your ovary and uterus situation? What if it's the brain that's out of balance as far as its natural biochemicals that it creates, and it's further addressing, upsetting, causing a root cause issue with estrogen and progesterone? So when you take a look at the body, what you really need to be doing is looking at all of the different organs and systems, which there's approximately 50, and all of the individual hormones, which there's approximately 67. So you can see how this gets very complex very fast, and it explains why you can't figure out your body. It's why you've tried a few health hacks that you found online, and they might have worked temporarily, they didn't work at all, and possibly they backfired. It is because you are an individual, and online influencers trying to sell you these cheap 3-tiered programs. You're either small, medium, large, you need to work with us, 3 months, 6 months, 12 months. All of that is, in my opinion, too confining and, in my own words, too cookie cutter. You are an individual, and you are as individual as your genetics, and no one on the planet has the same genetic code that you do. Therefore, your diet, your nutrition, your hormones, your herbs, your supplements, everything should be as individualized and personalized as you are. And no one else is really getting into this. It's too cookie cutter. It's buy my program online for $4.99, and then everybody gets the same thing. Everyone gets the same literature, and probably everyone gets the same supplements. And when you're dealing with true hormonal imbalances and you are trying to really get at the root cause of what's going on, you need a much more personalized approach. So the whole idea is to create a tailor-made program which enhances and involves all of those different aspects. So what are some of those different aspects? Well, first and foremost, the most obvious ones are always ovaries and uterus. But you have to take a look at the other systems, and you have a system known as your endocrine system. And it means endo, meaning from within, and crine, meaning these organs secreting hormones. So when we talk about hormones, the doctor usually tells you about the 2 that are sex-related. But there are hormones that are brain-related, thyroid-related, stress-related, heart-related. Even the heart has its own hormones. So what if, when we're talking about the root cause, what if it's truly the stress in your life creating an adrenaline rush? And then once that adrenaline rush occurs, what if that is the root cause of what's throwing off your estrogen or your progesterone or any other hormone for that matter? So what we really need to do is take a look at each individual organ, each individual system, and each individual hormone, and then out of that, literally what I call it is we create a personalized program that's based on your own algorithm and or calculus equation. But you have this big, long multiplication thing. So there's symbols, and there's letters, and there's parentheses, and there's all those funky signs and symbols that you see, when Einstein writes on the chalkboard. These are numbers and values that also, in creating the perfect personalized program, need to be entered and evaluated and implemented as getting what's the correct calculation for you after that equal sign. And this varies so much that I tell people anything that you do or try, you have a 1/3 chance of one of the three things happening. First, if, for example, you are dealing with hormonal situations and you watch a video and the person says, take some magnesium. So 33% of the people who take the magnesium will feel better. 30% of those people will see no change, and 33% of them will feel worse. Now, it's not exactly a third, but it's pretty darn close. So how many times are you going to guess and try and get it wrong, let's say, and not know if you're even getting at the root cause? Because you can actually overshadow and treat symptoms with nutrition. Everybody thinks that you can only treat symptoms with drugs. Actually, taking over-the-counter mega doses of synthetic vitamins have a slight pharmaceutical effect that you can end up taking magnesium, thinking you're actually changing your hormone picture, preventing cancers and anything, future diagnoses, etc. And you're not doing anything more than masking symptoms because you didn't get at the root cause with the correct nutrient. And then the third part is doing it in the correct order. So much of this has to do with what is the correct sequence. This is like having the numbers to the combination lock, but not knowing the order of those numbers that let's say even right now, let's say I absolutely told you it's absolutely, you need to take flaxseed oil. It's absolutely a calcium thing. It's absolutely an ovary thing, and it's absolutely a brain thing. Even if I told you those four things, not only do you need to know what the things are, and in those example, those four. Now, the next part is what sequence do I do them in? Can the body tolerate doing them all at the same time? Can I implement and handle all four things simultaneously? Or do I need to do one at a time, meaning that I cannot address my brain until I fix my calcium deficiency, or I cannot go and take care of the hormones until the brain is out of the way? So this is where, when you're dealing with an actual trained professional doing your personalized wellness program with all the science, the anatomy, the physiology, the biochemistry, and a complete understand of your nutritional needs, all of the biomarker levels of all the lab tests and what they mean, and then also who you are all the way down to your exact genetic profile. This is actually now a personalized, tailor-made program. So a lot of people ask me, why would I work with you, Dr. Lori, as opposed to some of these other influencers that you're talking about or seeing, or other people in your town or other people across the country just like you? And what I have to say is that this personalized approach is really the difference. And too many nutritionists online, etc., are doing, again, these more cookie cutter kind of tiered approaches. You can purchase a package and you purchase package 1, 2, or 3. Well, what if you don't exactly fit into package 1, 2, 3? What if you need package 57? So everything that we do is absolutely 100% personalized, individualized down to whatever we find, whatever we discover in the organs, in the systems, in your biomarkers, which are the scores which you get on your lab test. And then also we love doing the genetic profile. So I get to see who you are genetically and finding out what is really going on with you. And we know who you are genetically. The great thing about doing the genetics is that you are whoever you are forever. So that's really good news. So part of the plus to doing the genetic profile is that you're always going to be whoever we find you to be. Now, that might be a good thing because you could be at some genetic risk for something, but it could also be a great thing in that we know exactly who you are, exactly how your body functions, and what we can do to do that as an individual. So what we have going on here is that we have all of the different facets and components that we need to find out who you are. And that is where we do a full body analysis and examination. We assess all of the organs and systems. We, of course, encourage you to do and we perform as many functional medicine lab tests that will get all of the answers to all of these levels that we need to do. And then, of course, creating a tailor-made dietary program out of this information, a tailor-made lifestyle. We'll talk about that more in just a minute because people don't get what you mean lifestyle. We also create tailor-made exercise programs because so many women are doing the incorrect exercise routine for themselves. So they go online again, they're looking at social influencers, they're finding these free apps, they're signing up for programs, and they're not taking you as an individual into consideration. Yes, maybe they ask you your height and weight, and they might ask you to take your blood pressure or, what medications you're currently on, but that's only the tip of the iceberg. That's just the admin, that's the administrative part of health. Then we need to go dig down deeper. I'm like, okay, so what's going on with this machine that you carry around day to day? And what's going on in its liver? And what's going on in its intestines? And how are these hormones? And are they communicating properly with the brain? All of these things need to be taken into consideration in creating a personalized wellness program. So let's talk a little bit more about the lifestyle. And what we mean by lifestyle is everyone thinks I just have a lifestyle. It's just my lifestyle and that's it. But if you take a look, you actually have individual components to your life and your lifestyle. And it could be something as simple as you're waking up at the wrong time. That's what we're talking about. So let's say a lot of your stress and your cortisol or your adrenaline is being caused by the fact that you should be getting up at 7 a.m. and you're getting up at 8 p.m. a.m. You're getting up at 7 a.m. and you should be getting up at 8 a.m. Or you're getting up at 7 a.m. and you should be getting up at 6 a.m. or any minute or hour on the clock. It also comes down to a lot of women are drinking too much water. Everyone's like, I didn't think that was possible. I thought the more water, the better. And like, no, that is, again, back to this very cookie cutter think. Everyone has an exact saturation level and a hydration need, and it's different. It depends. Are you 20 years old? Are you 60 years old? Do you live in Arizona? Do you live in Canada? What is your life? Do you work outside? Do you work in a building? All of these factors determine, again, the correct personalized algorithm and or calculus equation that's right. About sheer water alone being a situation. So what about the foods? What about the food groups? How much protein? How little protein? So anytime you see any social influencer, any article telling you everyone needs, right there, you should just stop watching it or don't take the advice. So everyone should be taking blank or everyone should stop doing blank. As soon as it's kind of an encompassing generalization that takes every last person into consideration, right there, you already know you're not going to get a tailor-made personalized approach. And the whole reason for this is, as a woman, I know you have symptoms and problems that you're trying to address at the root cause. So whether that's stress or your sleep or hot flashes or acne or constipation or headaches or brain fog, all of these things are markers and complaints your body is giving you for a reason. What it's counting on is that you're going to work with someone who actually can go and find out why the body is creating these health situations, these symptoms, and get at the root causes to permanently handle these situations once and for all. So much of that doesn't occur, again, when you're doing these kind of prepackaged programs where you get a certain amount of hours, you get a certain amount of bottle of supplements and a certain protocol to follow, whether that be a diet, nutrition, etc. We're looking at a 100% completely personalized dietary program. Maybe you need to eat more protein. Maybe you need to eat less protein. We're looking at a tailor-made nutritional protocol. Maybe you need magnesium. Maybe you don't need magnesium. We're looking at a completely tailor-made and personalized lifestyle routine. Maybe you should be getting up at 6 a.m. versus 7 a.m. Maybe you should be doing 6 glasses of water per day as opposed to the 8 or 9 or 10 that you're possibly doing. Maybe it's an environmental factor, because so much of the stress, you have to realize stress is not only an external situation, it's also an internal situation. So when you're talking about stress, you need to look at it both out in the world and then also the reaction it's creating or having on the inside. So we take a look at all of this. And part of the educational process is knowing what to look for, what signs and symptoms. And once you know and can identify which individual you exactly are, we then create a personalized roadmap to help you with your hot flashes, your acne, your headaches, your Hashimoto's, whatever it is that you've been either labeled with, diagnosed with, and or you have a suspicion might be going on. But the whole idea is that it absolutely has to be a tailor-made approach. It has to be individualized for the one woman that you're addressing, you're talking about, and or you're assessing in that current moment. It's not every woman needs. It's not every woman should stop. It's what should you do as an individual. And this explains a lot of why you can't figure yourself out. You've run into difficulties starting a new health regimen and you find yourself failing or quitting or not completing it to some small or large degree. Is because somewhere in there, the reason you quote failed is there was a cookie cutter approach. That whatever the next step in on that program was not the correct step for you. And then what happens is you introvert and you think it's you and you don't have the willpower and you start thinking, what's wrong with me? And there's a high % chance it wasn't anything to do with you. Is that what you needed next after step number 6 is you needed step number 9. But the way the program was created is step 7 was next, which is not the correct step for you. So in keeping with a personalized approach, a personalized tailor-made nutritional program, a personalized lifestyle and enhancement program, and a personalized exercise routine, out of all of these components, I now can guarantee with absolute certainty, we can handle all of your health situations, which is totally not even a possibility or to be thinking with in the medical model. They're like, no, once you have it, you're stuck with it forever. Now, if you could just reverse engineer it and figure out all the pieces and all the organs and all the biochemical levels that created that, what I call comedy of errors, which created that, if your body can create it, if we could just identify all of the key components, argumentatively, if we just fixed all of those, wouldn't the body go back to handling itself and working normally? And the answer is yes. So once in a while, of course, there's always the rare situation that unfortunately too much damage has occurred to 100% completely reverse any health situation. But I'm telling you, 98% better is better than whatever you're currently getting. But we always go for the absolute in mind. We're going for a change in your mindset. We're looking at who could you be? How can it be done? Not agreeing with the current diagnosis or label or the medical opinion. Yes, you use that data to your advantage to start exploring what might be the potential problems, but where you need to go is moving into more holistic, the wellness and functional medicine realm to fix it. So even if you diagnose it in the medical model, you don't stay there. You get out and you get over to how am I going to terminatedly handle this situation once and for all by identifying the true root causes of what is creating this health situation in the first place. And the most important thing here is that here I said causes and not cause. So many women call. I do a free phone consult as part of my initial new patient process to get to know you a little bit more, to make sure that what I do could actually help you. And we start talking and the woman's like, yeah, I'd like to get at the root cause. And then she rattles off like 10 symptoms. And I'm like, wow. So we can handle those 10 symptoms. But I'm telling you, there's going to be several root causes. So if you can imagine, all of the organs and systems in your body have relationships. Some of them work positively together. Some of them have kind of a negative, like an inverse reaction, that when one organ gets upset, the other one calms down to try and compensate. So if you could picture the inside of your body, all of the organs, all the systems, and all the individual hormone levels and all the individual biochemical levels, they play together more like an orchestra. So you have the brass section and you have the horns and then you have the percussion. So you have this whole orchestra. So what you have going on in your body with each of these layers of health and cooperation is they work together more like an orchestra. So it could be that you have several parts of your orchestra out of balance. It could be that the harmony is not occurring because there's several facets to the harmony and or the harmonizing of the organs, the systems, and the hormones, and all the biochemical levels. So you're looking at root causes. For example, you might have a brain situation, plus you might also have a calcium deficiency, plus you might also have chronic high cortisol levels, plus you might also have some damage to your kidneys due to toxins that you've been breathing and eating and drinking for 40 years. So when you ask me which one of those things is the root cause, my answer is yes. It's all of those things in combination which are creating the health situation. So we have to identify the root causes, and then even more importantly, what we need to do is put them in the correct sequence, because possibly you need to handle the calcium deficiency before we can go take a look at the detox that we need to do. Because detox requires adequate levels of calcium to do detox to begin with. So you can imagine that some of these nutritional levels are kind of like the gas tanks of the different organs and systems. So if you have several empty or low gas tanks, you're not going to be able to get that organ or system to do its job because there aren't enough of the raw materials. So even though you want to fix your menstrual cycle, if you don't have enough raw materials that create the tissues in the ovaries and uterus, or you don't have enough of the vitamins and minerals to create the hormones, you're never going to, quote, totally fix the ovary, the uterus, and the menstrual cycle situation, because we have two organs that we need to contend with. We have several vitamin and mineral deficiencies we need to contend with, and we have some hormonal imbalances that we also need to take into consideration. So it's all of these facets simultaneously that get you, again, an individualized, personalized natural health improvement program that is designed for you and only you. So no more cookie cutter. No more my program options are package 1, 2, and 3. I want to be package 57. I want a tailor-made approach. I want someone who's going to take a look at my entire orchestra on the inside and take a look at every single organ, look at every single system, look at every single hormone. And by the way, as we mentioned earlier, there's 67 of them. So we're not just talking the 2 you know about. We're talking about all 67. And then we're going to be taking a look at each and every biochemical level. What does my gut flora have to say about this? What do the hormones that my heart produces have to say about this? How is my liver going to detox and metabolize out these poisons and toxins? How is my body going to absorb that calcium and that vitamin D? All of these things in combination, these are all the questions that need to be asked in detail with each individualized woman to come to the final outcome of having the perfect personalized natural health improvement program that's right for you and only you. And I've been doing this for over 30 years, and I have never put any 2 women on the same program ever. I even at one point, I had 2 identical twin sisters who were patients of mine, and if you looked at their protocols, their recommendations, their roadmap, they were completely different. Now, of course, they overlapped a little bit because they were twin sisters, but if you tried to switch their protocol, their roadmap, and their nutritional sheets and give the other sister the other one, you would have totally destroyed both of their cases. So we're looking at a total personalized wellness program that's right for you and only you, taking into consideration all of these individual facets that make you you. And the other thing is with all of these symptoms, there are many root causes. So a lot of what's being taught or stated is that all migraines are caused by this thing, or all menstrual cycle situations are caused by this one thing. And it's not true. It's, again, that algorithm. It's a calculus equation. So you might have menstrual cycle situations due to category A, B, and C being a problem. And your best friend, your neighbor might have the same or similar symptoms. But when we take a look at them and their individual hormone levels, biochemistry, their genetics, they are actually category H, I, and J are where the real problems for them are. So the root causes for the first woman are A, B, and C, and for the second woman, the root causes are H, I, and J. And you can see you would never be able to overlap those 2 protocols. It's not specific enough. Yes, what you're seeing online and social media and influencers and blogs and articles is you're seeing people educating you on the broad generalities, which is great. So if you want to know who you are, understand your body a little bit better, like how does my liver actually work? And what are the hormones that I need to know about from the sex hormones and the woman's reproductive system? This is great general information, but to try and read on in the article and now do or try or add everything they're discussing is a mistake because we don't know enough about you as an individual. If you already have plenty of a magnesium, taking more magnesium is not going to fix anything. So picture all of these organs and systems having their individual gas tanks, just like your car does. So if the gas tank is full, do you go to the gas station? No. Why? It's already full. So if your magnesium tank is full, why would you take magnesium? Or if your vitamin D tank is full, why would you take vitamin D? Or if you are already hydrated, if all of the cells already have the maximum amount of water and hydration they need, and you accomplish that by noon with 6 glasses of water, why are you drinking more in the afternoon? Once the gas tank is full, it should remain full. Now, what happens is you do your daily routine, and of course, gas tank levels go up and down, just like when you drive your car. So you do have to do some monitoring. But to try to preemptively fix something that quote isn't broken, you're not going to be able to fix it because you can't get where you need to go. So for example, if your car was making a noise and you're like, wow, maybe it's because I need some gas in the gas tank, but you look at the needle and it says it's full, or the little icon on your dashboard and it says full, is whatever the noise in your car going to be fixed by putting more gas in it? No. One, most likely the gas in the gas tank is not the root cause of whatever created the noise in your car in the first place. And two, even if it possibly had something to do with it, if the gas tank is full, you can't fill a full gas tank. So we know right there that the root cause and the true symptom or problem of your car has absolutely nothing to do with the fact of putting more gasoline in the gas tank. And this is actually the same working principle how every organ and system in your body works. If your brain is already saturated with all the nutrition that your brain needs, taking more brain support isn't going to fix the situation. If your ovaries and uterus already have enough of the raw materials to make the hormones, taking more of those vitamins, minerals, and nutrients isn't going to make the body make more. So that's one of the common mistakes is everyone thinks is you can manipulate the body, that if it's decided it needs 100 grams of some particular substance, that if you take 1,000 milligrams of this vitamin or that vitamin, you can force the body to now make more. So this particular machine, the way it is designed, has the calculations pre-programmed into it. That's what your genetics are all about. So you can't force it to do more than what it already knows it needs to do. So just because you take some vitamins, it isn't going to make your heart beat 10 or 100 times faster. The body's like, this is my resting heart rate. This is what we do. This is what we beat, how we beat. You can take vitamin D, vitamin E, vitamin C. You can take everything you want. You're not going to get your heart rate up because your heart rate is pre-programmed. And this is the same that's true for your brain hormones and your brain chemistry. It's the same for the rate as what your body will do liver detox. It is the same at the rate as it'll produce hormones. So just because you want it to produce hormones twice as fast, you're thinking that taking vitamins is going to make that occur. And it doesn't work like that. So there are pre-programmed levels and biochemical reactions that go on in the body. And that is where working with someone like myself that is an actual physician with biochemistry, anatomy, and physiology, nutrition, and medicine, and an understanding of how a body actually works. So, for example, if you tried to put 40 gallons of gas in your 20-gallon gas tank, is the car going to drive any faster? No, because that is not the sequence of events nor the way to get the car to do that. And that is the same error that many women are doing or taking by trying to follow online advice, cookie cutter protocols, and again, not getting at a personalized, individualized nutritional program that's right for her and only for her. So that's what we're talking about here. Let's go back again now and talk a little bit about the hormones, because usually there is a hormonal component. And the one thing I need to clarify is it's not the hormones that you think they're going to be. So as a reminder, the woman's body has about 67 different hormones, and only a few of those have to do with the sex glands and the sex hormones. And then you have about 60 others. I'm like, well, what do all those do? So again, we're looking at the inside of your body being more like an orchestra, where you have different categories of instruments, and it's all of these categories of instruments balancing and harmonizing together that get you the beautiful sounds at the opera or the event. And this is where the beauty and the aesthetics of music and a performance comes into play. And there's that same beauty and aesthetic that is possible with the woman's body, but what you have to do is you have to approach it in the same exact way. You have to identify and discover all of the different root causes in all the different areas of the body, with all of the working interactions of those organs and systems that work directly together, and then some of these organs work indirectly, and then some of these organs work proactively towards each other, and then some of them actually work against each other. And it's not that any of these are good or bad or right or wrong, is that when you have one organ and system going high, there needs to be an organ and system that counterbalances that and goes low. And that's how your body works, and this is the balancing that I'm talking about. So if you can picture the inside of your body kind of being like a teeter-totter or a seesaw, that if you think you have high cortisol, what we need to see is what damage is that creating and what low level is that creating. And the mistake, the medical think, is always forcing the high one down. So maybe it's not that we need to force your cortisol down as much as we need to bring the counterpart up. And so you have to know and understand body biochemistry and the hormones that work for and against each other, and the ones that work simultaneously in conjunction to create a situation, and ones that are there to positively be that negative counterbalance of that when this one goes high, I go low. And when this one goes low, I go high. And then if the brain's not happy, then the adrenal glands come to the rescue. And if the thyroid's not happy, then the liver comes to the rescue. So every organ and system has its equal and opposite counterpart to help it keep this balance, this harmony that we keep talking about. And then we have 67 different hormones that kind of communicate these interbalances. So the organs can't go talking to each other directly, and I know I'm being kind of silly, but they do communicate. They communicate via your hormones. That is what your hormonal system is just your body's communication system. So if your brain wants to tell something to the ovaries, it sends down a hormone from the brain to the ovaries and says, hey ovaries, it's time to ovulate. If the intestines are getting too toxic and they need some help, they send a communication to the liver and be like, hey liver, you need to step up your detox. We need some help here. We need some more detox going on. So it's not just hormones, it's not just ovaries and uterus, it's a combination of all the different organs and systems working in their perfect harmony, all of the things that need to be high when they need to be high, and all the things that need to be low when they need to be low. Another component of this has to do with this high versus low of trying to force down the hormone using hormones. And then again, that is also medical think, that if I have a high sex hormone, what I need to do is birth control or hormone replacement. And then when you're taking a look at the beauty and the holistic design of this body and taking into consideration the brilliance of functional medicine, that is not how a body works at all. You do not take the high thing and force it down, and you do not take the low thing and force it up. Well, you have to go in and take a look at all of the calculus pieces of this equation, all the pieces to the algorithm, and finding out who really needs your help. So a great example of that is high hormones. Everybody's worried about high hormones. Everybody wants to try and drive or force those hormones down with some form of hormone replacement, whether that's natural, synthetic, or something in between. Most of the time, high hormones are due to a lack of detox, and detox happens in your liver and in your intestines. So you're like, wait a minute, you're telling me that I'm trying to fix an ovary problem and I don't even have to fix the ovaries? That's exactly what I'm telling you. If you have any kind of hormone dominance, there's a good chance that you don't need to ever address that hormone directly. What you need to do is get the liver better metabolizing and eliminating and packaging up the leftover waste products of the ovaries, the uterus, the hormones, whatever the case may be. And then the liver's job is to take all of these poisons, toxins, debris, hormone residues, the part of your food you don't need, anything that you breathe in a day. The liver's job is your body's filter to filter all this out and package it up and send it off to the small intestines. This is where in the small intestines where the final packaging occurs, and then it's excreted in your bowel movements. So yes, I have actually handled hormone situations by fixing livers and small intestines. I've actually fixed sex hormone situations, fixing brains and thyroids and everything else under the sun, because remember, all of these organs and systems are like an orchestra. Therefore, the mantra that I practice under is that anything can cause anything. Literally, any organ, system, hormone, biochemical level, or genetic predisposition can be the true root cause to your symptom. So once you now grasp that anything can literally cause anything, you have finally opened the door to handling your health situations once and for all. Because there are no preconceived notions. There are no predetermining factors. There are no viewpoints or ideas that something cannot be fixed, it cannot be done, or we don't know how to fix it. The truth is you don't know how to fix it with a drug. That doesn't mean you don't know how to fix it. It just can't be done with a prescription medication. It's going to come down to dietary, lifestyle, hormonal balancing, changing your exercise routine, changing other factors in your life, eating more protein, drinking less water, changing your exercise routine. Any one of these factors can be the root cause or causes. So the whole idea behind a personalized program is figuring out who you are as an individual with a personalized, individualized natural health improvement program that gets at finally the root causes once and for all. So no more cookie cutter, no more pre-packages, no more, of these kind of online, do this program and it's a year long and it's a monthly payment plan and this is what you get. You are not that straightforward. You are not that simple. You are a beautiful and complex creature that deserves a tailor-made natural approach to handle all of your genetic predispositions, all of the little idiosyncrasies that make you you. And then the most important part of all that is turning all of these potential negative outlooks over to a positive mindset. So taking a look at the things that are, quote, not optimum about you or your genetics or your family history and changing your mindset to use that in a proactive way. And that's easier said than done. So that's actually part of my program. And that's a huge part of the education. Is that what I'm trying to do is not just handle your symptoms, which of course is the most important thing, but the goal and hidden agenda that I have is after several months, usually about a year of working with me, I have taught and trained you just like you would with someone with a college education or you have raised a child, that you should know and understand yourself well enough that you can do most of this on your own without me. That's a much different approach and viewpoint than most doctors. They basically are trying to, quote, get a patient for life. And I'm trying to get you to go live your life and not come see me. It's almost bittersweet, and it's the opposite of most practitioners. I'm trying to get you to go out there and know what your body's telling you. So I teach you how to be your own body whisperer. So what is the problem with that body and why is it giving you the symptoms that it's giving you? And then how you kind of intuitively know what to do. And no one has just ever given you the woman's body manual, which is what we do as part of our program. This is why it's so detailed, it's so individualized, is we need to figure out what particular, quote, model you are. So you might be a Honda Accord, you could be a Mercedes, you could be a Ferrari, you could be a Ford pickup truck for all we know. But we first have to identify your particular model type. And then, as you know, for all of those cars, they would all have a different owner's manual, wouldn't they? So when you purchase that, what you went in and what you would do for the one car or automobile isn't necessarily what you would do for the other. It might be the same, and there might be a button that does that, and then maybe it's a similar situation, and maybe it's just completely different. Maybe you need premium unleaded gasoline in your gas tank because you're a Ferrari. Or maybe you need diesel fuel because you're a pickup truck. And the problem is that online, social media, influencers, bloggers, everything that you're seeing, you're reading, the articles are all cookie cutter. They're all generalizations. They're all assuming everyone's a Honda Accord because that's kind of like the car that's like in the middle of the road, or like a Toyota. So not everyone has four wheels, has four doors, and is a sedan that just drives down the road. Not all of us are driving that type of car. So if you're going to instruct this person, give them the perks, the tips, the tricks, the hacks. I'm not giving the same tips and hacks to the person who owns a Ford pickup truck versus the person that owns the Ferrari. Some of the hacks and tips and tricks will be the same because you're in the general category of vehicles. But the individual approach, how to get the best performance out of your Ferrari, is going to be a very different algorithm, calculus equation approach to the truck. And so you could see there will be overlapping similarities, but it comes down again to handling the individual. So what we're talking about here is a completely personalized, individualized natural health improvement program that takes you and your symptoms into consideration and then helps you get at the root causes, which includes your genetic predispositions, your organ and system functions, your vitamin and mineral and nutritional deficiencies, and all the beautiful tens of thousands of biochemical markers that you can test in functional medicine lab tests. It's all of these pieces, all of this information put together in the perfect calculus equation and or algorithm for you that gets you and me giving you the absolute 100% certainty and guarantee that I can help you and we can handle all of your situations. It's not a one size fits all. It's not a cookie cutter approach. It's not choose from package 1, 2, or 3. It's finding out who you are, getting in depth on who you are currently, who you were, what has changed. Also, what's very, very important is what decade of life you're in. So the woman's body changes. Oops, sorry about that. So the woman's body changes about every 10 years. And what you have here is that if you're, whatever age you are, you want to be taking a look at, one second here, sorry everybody, good. What you want to be taking a look at is what decade are you in? So for example, your hormonal changes are dramatic about every 10 years. Now it's not an absolute, but every 10 years-ish. And what you have is the estrogen is one of the key ones, but there's other ones. So we'll just talk about estrogen for the example, but don't think this is the only one. So when you are 0 to 10 years old, you have a certain amount of estrogen. When you are 10 to 20, you have a different amount. 20 to 30, 30 to 40, 40 to 50, 50 to 60, etc., etc. It is, and the only part of this whole hormonal cycle that anyone knows about is menopause. And then they don't even know how to fix menopause. They just know that's where the most dramatic change occurs, is right around the 40, between 40 to 60, kind of smack dab in there, right around 50 is where the most dramatic or observable change is made. But what the medical model doesn't have enough intel, so to speak, or intellect or observation or depth into each of the 10 years, because in natural, holistic, and functional medicine, this is what we specialize in, is looking at the things no one either is willing to look at or able to look at. And why those two things, I don't know. All I know is that what we do is we look at what no one else is looking at. Therefore, we can get root causes that no one else can get, and therefore we can handle health situations and symptoms that no one else can handle, is because we are going in depth enough, specific enough, personalized enough with you as the individual to find out where the real situations and health problems are coming from. So of course, at the age of 20, your dietary protocol, your exercise routine, your water intake, your lifestyle and your activities should be completely different than when you're 50. and when you're 60. And it explains so much of why my new patients, the women, come in and they're like, I don't know what's wrong with me. I remember 10 years ago, blank, 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 blah, blah, blah. It was like, yes, the first thing I need you to confront and admit is I'm not that person anymore. I am not the 30-year-old version of me. I am now the 40 or 50-year-old version of me, and that is a completely different version. That is why your tips, your tricks, and your hacks of what you did don't work anymore, is because the body is trying to tell you that's not who you are anymore. So in the old days, or 10 years ago, all I needed to do is drink some extra water, go to bed an hour early, and I woke up the next day ready to go, and all my symptoms and problems go away. And then the woman's like, I did that yesterday, and nothing changed. I'm like, exactly. It's because you are not that person anymore. Those tips and hacks are no longer your tips and hacks. And the frustration and the aggravation is that they change about every 10 years. So as soon as you figure yourself out, it's almost time to start again. And this is what makes the woman's journey so difficult, and why it's not the same for men, because they are just the same from the day they are born till the day they die. They do not go through the pre-baby making years. They do not go through the baby making years, and they don't go through the after the baby making years. So you are at least 3 people bare minimum in your entire lifetime, and the man is just one start to finish. This also, in my opinion, without being biased, is why men can't help women to the magnitude they need to. When you see a male doctor, a male gynecologist, or a male intern of any kind, not that they're not great people, it's just they don't know, they don't understand us, they're not one of us. Part of the secret to my success over my 30-year career is that I am my ideal clientele. I am my own peer. I know exactly what it's like to suffer with menstrual cycle problems as a teenager. I know exactly what a pregnancy what is like, because I went through 2 of them. I know exactly what it's like to try and resculpt and heal your body after the birth of the child. I know what it's like to go through premenopause and perimenopause and menopause, because I've done all of that already. And so you're dealing with someone who knows who you are, because there's a good chance I've already been you, and or I am you currently. And what I do, what my tips and my tricks and my hacks may or may not be the right ones for you. They only are what I know and I'm certain are working for me. So in that regard, working with a female practitioner who is going through or has gone through already what you're going through, who understands the female body because she has a female body, and I have all the training and the education in anatomy, physiology, biochemistry, and functional medicine, and holistic nutrition, and integrative medicine. I have the whole picture, all sides of the story. Most people only have some or many of all of those different aspects. And that is why we can be so accurate and so specific with your personalized natural health improvement program, is because we know all of the science, all of the facets, all of the individual components, and this is what I do with myself, day to day, week to week, year to year. My algorithm is always changing. I'm always updating my nutritional protocol. I'm always following up with follow-up lab tests every so often. I'm always doing all of my own assessments on myself. I do walk the walk. Anything I ask or tell of you, I'm already doing it, because we are in the same situation. We are a peer class of women. We are going through the similar struggles of being a woman, whether you're 15 years old, 35, 65. We are all going through the evolutions of the different versions of women we were, we are, and or were yet to become. And it has to be specific, it has to be individualized and personalized, right down to every last vitamin and mineral, every single organ, every single genetic predisposition, and every single biochemical level that your body can tell us about. So all of these things in combination is what makes you the most beautiful version of you. And if you're not currently experiencing that most beautiful version of you, you're going to need some help, because you can see this algorithm is quite complex. If you wanted to figure out on your own what it is we need to know and do, I need you to go take a course in anatomy, physiology, biochemistry, nutrition, functional medicine, and actual just vitamin minerals. And that is just that's just scraping the top of what you would need to know. And then at that point, at least you and I could at least speak the same language. That doesn't even mean you understand what to do. It just means that if I say a word, you're like, oh yeah, I know what that word means. So it is the equivalent of kind of, nutritional quantum physics. I don't want it to be that complex, but to really truly understand. And the biggest thing for me is results. So if I am going to guarantee 100% success and that I can actually handle, fix, resolve, eliminate all of your symptoms, this is how precise, exact, and in-depth we have to be in order to guarantee that success. So yes, can you do less? Of course you can. You can, even a broken clock is right twice a day. You can go and grab some stuff and slapdash a program together and get it right on occasion or make an improvement here and there. And that's great. But if you are more of a perfectionist, if you're looking at your life, your goals, your dreams, your purposes, and you see you cannot achieve those, that is a bigger situation. That is going to go beyond taking some advice from someone online. That's going to go beyond buying a bottle of vitamins through a video you watched or clicking a link. Yes, you can get little tricks and hacks and symptomatic relief. But if your current health situation is preventing you from being who you truly want to be, it's preventing you from doing something that you've always had on your bucket list of something you want to do, and or there's something you don't have now that you want to have that you just can't have. So whether that be you can't go to college, you can't go back for your PhD, you don't have the energy to work a second job for extra income for your family, you don't have the tolerance or the patience to hang out with the kids when they're screaming and yelling and asking for snacks, you're losing it. You can't keep your mood under control. If there are things that in your life you are not achieving or accomplishing, or you look in the mirror and you're like, I don't like who I am, or I don't like what I see, then that is a more complex, in-depth, personalized program that you're going to need to embark upon. This cannot be shortcutted. It cannot be cookie cuttered, if that's even a word. It has to be laying the groundwork, because your body is exactly the same as building a home. And there are many parts to building a home. You just don't go throw up some lumber and the next day you move in. You have to make sure the soil and the ground is solid and strong, that it can withstand the weight of this home. And then you have to build the basement. Maybe not here in Florida, but there's some kind of foundational elements there. It's usually cement blocks. So regardless if you're in Arizona, New York, or Florida, you do have a foundation. Once the foundation is solid, then you build the first floor. Then once the fourth floor is solid, then you build the second floor. And then the chimney, and then the roof, and then all of the additive things that you add. It's a process. It's a rebuilding and a resculpting, and it's a journey. And your body is the same way. So your body has the equivalent of a foundation and nails and wood and drywall and bricks and a chimney and a roof. We just don't call it those words, but your body infrastructure is exactly the same as a home. So you need to identify and isolate and address each individual room with each of its little intricacies, and then looking and stepping back and addressing the home as a full building, the house itself. And then any of the little idiosyncrasies that can go wrong between an ant infestation from outside coming into your home, or paint pilling on a wall in your upstairs bedroom. These are all the individualized areas and compartments that are very similar to the organs and systems that you have. And it's doing all of these rooms simultaneously. So for example, when you clean your home, you just don't clean one room, right? It's like, okay, I cleaned the house, what did you do? I cleaned the kitchen. And my question is like, what about all the other rooms? And you're like, oh no, that's good enough. I just did the kitchen. Well, how clean would your house be as if this is how you cleaned? Well, the same is true for your body. Too much of it is being compartmentalized by the nutrition industry, by the specialists in the medical profession, by social media influencers, and then based on what you're being told and taught by all of these people. Is like, you can't just go handle one nutritional deficiency. You need to handle all of them simultaneously because they are working off of each other. If I have a plumbing problem, I don't just make sure the water's only running or working in my downstairs bathroom. I need to make sure it's working in the upstairs bathroom, which may or may not be exactly the same part of the problem. I might be replacing pipes or 2 toilets, not just one. And or I might have a situation where I have a roof that's collapsing that's affecting all the rooms below it. So I don't just fix the one shingle, or I don't just fix the one part. If it's leaking in both the kitchen and the living room, I don't just fix the kitchen and assume or hope or expect it to catch the living room. I got to go fix the living room as well. And the same is true for your body. And this is what, you're not being told or taught of what's actually going on the inside. And it's very complex, but it can be brought down into simple terms as we're sharing now. But it's a matter of knowing and identifying all the systems that are involved, all the organs that are involved, all the hormones that are involved, and all the individual biochemical levels that may be contributing to your symptom. And once all of these key components are identified, then we can create make a correct assessment. And then off of that assessment, then we can create the most perfect, beautiful natural health improvement program to handle all of your health situations across the board, with the ultimate goal not even being symptomatic relief, but actually being helping you to achieve those goals and purposes and dreams that you probably are ignoring right now, have basically come to terms with that they're just not happening this lifetime. I was like, oh, well, I guess that's just not happening. Is revitalizing and rekindling all of those dreams and goals and purposes you had for yourself that maybe you're just kind of like just brushing off at this point. So it really is a different approach, a different mindset. And not only, again, do you get symptomatic relief, but we're also taking a look at getting at the root causes of what makes you you and handling that at the core level. Well, I would like to thank everyone for joining. If any of this sound interested you, please take advantage of doing a free phone consult with me. I would love to talk about you, find out who you are, what makes you tick, and create this personalized, tailor-made roadmap for helping you to become the most beautiful version of you. Not just symptomatic relief, but being exactly who you want to be. Feeling awesome and amazing in your own skin, having the confidence to go out and embark upon life, hang out with your friends, start that college degree, get that new job, be the mom you always wanted to be. These are all of the things that I truly want for you, above and beyond just symptomatic relief. So please, I'd love to talk to you. It's a 15-minute consultation. It's free, and you can share your personal health story. You can find out who I am, obviously, on my profile here on Instagram, and or go to my website, which is basically justmyname.com. So I would love to hear from you and help you. Thank you so much for joining. Have a wonderful day, all of my beautiful women, and I look forward to helping you look and feeling amazing. Bye.